Bezat Hashem, we're in Shirat David. Baruch Hashem. I don't know if anyone's listening, but we have a Shalom Likutei Moharan. Keep up the Seder. Heilige Rebbe Nachman on Yesod ShbYesod. What a schus to learn on a special day, the Ramchal's Yahrzeits. We actually have a Ramchal Sefer here, the way of God, Derech Hashem, and also we see like Shalom, all the Svarim here, and Zeichel Nishmas and Schus Yarim Aleinu, also with Shlomka, I think, from Zville. Schus Aleinu also Yesod ShbYesod, the Tzaddikim's light, shining Kedushasecha, the holiness. And Rabbi Nachman talks about in this Heilige Torah, in the Likutei Moharan, Torah Mem Dalet. I actually got chizuk that my father had listened to this shir a few times about clapping, and he asked me, he said, do you really believe that clapping helps in what you're doing? And I explained that everything Rabbi Nachman says is emes, amita, is truth, and people are zocheh to hear it and learn it. And a lot of the other stuff that we've been learning about in terms of the noise out there, the podcast place, the media, might not be truth, but this is for sure emes, amita. It's the sodus of the bria, of Bereshis. So he goes on to say the Heilige Rebbe Nachman, and we're going to learn the 44th Torah, the 4th section, Gam Nisbato Hereg V'Avdo Ma'olam. He's talking about in the pasuk where let there be light, and there was light. Hashem saw there was light, and it was good. And Hashem separated between the light and the darkness. This is right at the beginning of the Torah. As I said, this is Yesodus of Brias Olam. Already the first pasuk Bereshis has 28 letters, and here we're learning already within a few pasukim later, 2-3 pasukim, third and fourth pasuk of the Torah, V'yor. He says, Gam Nisbato Hereg Avdo Ma'olam. He says, through clapping on the hands, killing and destruction are eliminated from the world. Ki yadayim heim bechinas ye'or v'yor. V'yor. And there was light, let there be light, and there was light. Let there be light, and there was light. Yamina was smaller. For the hands, these holy hands of the Yid, the right and the left, Ksiv, V'yar Elikim etz ha'or v'chulu, V'yavdo bein ha'or. It goes on to say in the Pesukim, and God saw there was light and separated between the light. What's the light? Da Aaron, that's Aaron Hakohen. Aaron, my altar Zeder, the great-great-great-grandfather all the way back, Aaron Hakohen. It was funny that my father of all the Torahs has been listening to this one, because he's the Kohen. Uven HaChoshech. And who's the Choshech? Da Koyach, that's Koyach. Zeh b'chines v'nasati shalom ba'aretz v'cherev lo tavo ba'aretzachem. So this Indian is, this corresponds, I grant peace in the land and no sword will cross the land. So the way we understand this is very deep. That Aaron is light and darkness is koyrach. And we're in it right now. We just started Sefer B'midbar. You know, I was having a thought today. I already thought, Machshava Tova, that we know that Vayikra is Torah's Kohanim. It's the Torah of Kohanim. And then we have the Torah of B'midbar. Now, B'midbar has other names. I would suggest Torah's Leviim. It doesn't say that anywhere. I don't think there's a sefer that talks about it specifically, but I do remember seeing somewhere that the big switch of Vayikra to B'midbar is going from all the halachas of the Kohanim to the halachas of the Leviim. And one day I'll find out exactly where state, but if you look in the Pesukim, you see there's a big theme from Aaron Hakohen and Kohanim all the way through to Leviim, Parshas Koyach in this Parsha, in this Sefer, and also within this Parsha of Midbar, the Leviim aren't counted. They're given a special chelik. And there's many other such halachas that we talk about with Leviim in Sefer Midbar. So Aaron is the Or, and Koyach is the Choshech. And we know from Svarim that Aaron is Midas HaChesed, Kohanim are Midas HaChesed, and Koyrach is from Levi, so Levi is Midas HaGevurah. And we know that the Indian of Yomam V'Layla, learning Torah day and night, the day represents Chesed, the night is Indian of of Gevurah, of Hamtaka. We've been talking about this in other learning. We're going to see him from Rav Tzaddik. There's Torah Shebeksav, which is the day, the Gilui that happens, and Torah Sheba'al which is the Choshech, where you have to toil, you have to omel, to bring out the or in the Torah Sheba'al, which is generally like Bavel was a place, it's named after Talmud Bavli, after the place of Bilbul, to bring out the or in the place of Bilbul. So that's my own little drosh here, but Aaron is or and Choshech is light. It says the Parish understandings that Korach was jealous, as we know, if we go later on in Bamidbar, of Aaron the Kohen being chosen to be the Kohen Gadol and the Kohanim, and his descendant the Kohanim, and he was also wanted to be part Korach of the Kohanim, and he was, I don't know, relegated, but he was not able to be on the Inyan of Leviim. So it says here that Kabbalah, that Kohen Chesed is the right side, the Leviim is on the Gevurah, the left side. Aaron as a priest corresponds to the light, whereas Korach, a Levite, corresponds to the darkness. The Tikkun Zohar adds that Moshe corresponds to Efrat, the central column. And that's where we're holding today. Yesod ShbYesod is the hemshech of Tiferes, is the continuation in the kavim of Eitz Chaim. If you go down from Tiferes, you get to Yesod, and this is Yesod ShbYesod, which should have unified Aaron and Korach, but Korach was drawn to the forces of evil and brazenly opposed Aaron being given the kahuna, the priest. As a result, he and his supporters were destroyed. In our context, this shows that when the right and left hands are separated, the potential for death and destruction is prevalent. But when there is unification, unity flow, united souls, when everything's united, such as when one claps one's hands, it brings opposing forces together, the right and the left, the right hand and the left hand, which represent the Kohanim and the Leviim together, coming together with Moshe, the Midas of Tiferes, this harmonization. And that's why the Rebbe Nachman goes on to say that he's going to grant peace in the land, so no sword will cross the land. What does it mean, peace? It means this is Tiferes, the harmonization. And once there's peace, there is no killing, there's no destruction. And that's what we've done for all the time in Eretz Yisrael. Ultimately, through clapping, we come to a place of peace. Eretz Yisrael is supposed to be Nasati Shalom ba'aretz. That's what it says in Vayikra. I would grant Shalom in the land, and no sword would cross the land. He goes on to say, Rabbi Nachman, and we'll go there in a minute. I'm going to quote a little bit of Gedale Fenster, who brings a beautiful Torah from Rav Kook. He was Torat Eretz Yisrael, Rav Yitzchak Kook. Unfortunately, also experienced, he was a Kohen, but he also experienced the lack of unity of his time and Maklokas of Korach of his time, where people were neged his Torah, and he was the Torah of Eretz Yisrael, which really, if we, maybe only till now, have we really starting to live and absorb what his holy kavanas were when he first gave over these Torahs, because he was ahead of his time. Heard this from Rebbe Wine. He was like the Rebbe Meir from the Shas. He was on a different bechina of being more the pnimis of Torah in the deepest way, in the deepest kinds of Torah. So it says here in Gedale Fenster quotes him, we forgot that we have a holy body, not less than our holy neshama. Yeah, the sacred vessel, he calls it. Rabbi Avraham Yitzchak Kook. It's time to stop neglecting the body, because it will slow down the illuminance of the soul. You know, I was listening to some Rav giving over his story of trying to get to Moran, Kala Kavod, his Mesiras Nefesh, to be by Rabbi Shimon on Lag BaOmer, because from his story. But one of the things that came out in the story, I mean, it's just Pasha, he was modest, not like trying to say anything negative, but, this shalom between the body and the soul, this vitality of guf and nefesh, which is something my wife is very busy, my soulmate's very busy with. Bringing this achdus, this unification between body and soul, is something very important. In honoring our physical vessel, we create the sacred conditions for divine wisdom to flourish within us. So the real yichud has to be that instead of like this image of the healthy, non-religious person working the land, kibbutz and all this and that, and then the unhealthy, very, Torah-dicka person, they call them Charedi or whatever they want to call them, we're learning the Torah, but he's not in a healthy physical state. He's not eating nutritious food. He's sometimes in anias, like in poverty, where he can't afford to have a gym membership, or the lifestyle doesn't encourage that. I feel that right now, before Mashiach comes, we need to have harmony, teferes, which is what we were learning now with the clapping in the hands. We have to bring together the body and the soul, the chesed and the gevura, the inyan of Torah and healthy lifestyle. Bring these two concepts, and this Rav Kook's teaching us the holy body needs to be a vessel for the holy neshama. So he goes on to say underneath here, Gedale, the body isn't in the way of your spiritual growth, it's part of it. If the soul is a light, the body is a lamp. When we neglect the body, we're dimming the very vessel that carries our mission in this world. People think ruchnius means, spirituality means leaving the body behind, but it's actually about bringing the light into the body. Take care of your sleep, move your body. I thank God being now in Efrat, the gym opened up opposite my home, so I have no excuse. I've been going there for, I think, almost more than a year, going since it opened, to the gym, swimming, eat in a way that gives you energy, not anxiety. So you have to also make sure the lifestyle, the eating, not all this rogalach and carbohydrates. We have to make sure we're eating healthy food, and that means organizing the home in such a way that you constantly have in the house generally healthy food, not snacking and takeaways and all this stuff, except for once in a while, for the sake of shalom bias or whatever, treat. There's times to zig and zag. Zigging is generally being healthy only 6 days a week, and then zag is Shabbos. I heard that from Tony Robbins, the idea of zigging, zagging, but the concept of Yiddishkeit is supposed to be that as well, not eating healthy foods night after night. Right now there's a lot of people going to weddings and simchas and bar mitzvahs, Baruch Hashem. Yeah, but it doesn't mean you have to eat unhealthy food. Ideally, everything should be healthy, what we're providing. Shirat David, where we're learning now, we have Shalasudis, we generally have healthy vegetables, salad, cut up food. So the concept is, speak to your body with the same kindness you're learning, and speak to your soul. Your physical health affects your emotional state, your clarity, your ability to pray, to show up and to give. Don't wait for burnout to realize the body matters. As I was saying that story with the rabbi going to the Moran, he was having such physical ailments, just trying to get there, to take painkillers, all kinds of stuff. This is not how ideally we should be healthy. I'm not saying that specific person has an issue, but the concept of that society where they neglect the body a hole in the body is an even bigger hole in the soul, as the Magen HaMezrich said. And this is Rav Kook. So bringing together the two aspects, making harmony between Shemayim v'Aretz, between heaven and earth, and making sure there's harmony between the Kohanim and the Leviim, the side of Chesed, the side of Gevura, the different communities, the different parts of Klal Yisrael, learning from each other, the strengths that one community has should give chizuk to the other community. We all need to collaborate, united souls. That's my whole book. Unity bookings, relationship flow. We need to have unity. We need to join together. Atam nitzavim hayom eim amida el tefillah, says Rabbi Nachman. We're just going to read a little bit more. So we're standing in front of Hashem. What is standing in front of Hashem? Amida. Standing is tefillah. Lefnei Hashem elekeichem, goes on Rabbi Nachman. That before your God. This corresponds to Bechinas Eretz Yisrael, K'mash Amru Chachmenu, Zechona Lebracha, the holy sages, may their name be blessed. Kol Hada Ba'eretz Yisrael, Kami Sheyesh Lo Elokai. That anyone who lives in Eretz Yisrael is like he has a God. The famous Gemara, Kesubas. Yeah, we live in Eretz Yisrael, it's like we have a God. Hainu Aidei Masha Tizko Shitet Filaseichem Ba'avir Eretz Yisrael. In other words, how will you merit having your prayers? Be in the land of Eretz Yisrael. Rasheichem, Shivteichem, your leaders, your tribal leaders. The Parshas Nitzavim, all about Kibbutz Yisrael, everyone coming back, joining together, standing together in Eretz Yisrael, in the Holy Land. That's what we need more than ever now. It's Torat Eretz Yisrael. Rabbi Nachman's hemshech was Rav Kook, and the Yesod of Ramchal, and all these Tzaddikim, Mona Esa Bechinas, Haina Bechinas, Machas Kaf. Yeah, we have to Machas Kaf, by clapping. The leaders and the tribal heads are bringing together this concept of the 10 fingers on our hands, clapping together. These represent Aidei Machias Kapayim, Tefillah His Ba'avir Yisrael Kanal. So he explains the 10 aspects of the land of Israel, the 10 components of the nation correspond to the 10 fingers. So we have 10 different parts of Am Yisrael, all the way through, from leaders all the way down to the most simple jobs that people do. There are 10 kochas, 10 powers, that create the fan creation, the 10 spheres. The Yadayim has 10. Everything's built binary, 0, 1, 1, 0. All the coding, everything's built in the system. Thus the verse translates in our verse, today you're standing, all of you, before Hashem, your Lord, in order for a person to pray in a Haliyant, all of you, your leaders, your tribal heads, everyone, all the different levels, the 10 different levels of people. You must bring together all the 10 fingers in the clap, and thereby arousing the pure air, the avir, the holy air of Eretz Yisrael. Avir, if you take the letters of avir, it's a well-known concept from Rabbi Nachman and from the Balatanya. The avir has within it the union of or, and it has the same letters, or yud. So the idea is the or. You want to bring out the or, you have to clap together these 10 fingers. That's the or yud. Bringing out the or of yud is purifying the avir, which is the osius or yud. So anyhow, we should be zocher in the merits Tzaddikim, the Shalom, counting up the sphere. We should be zocher bez Hashem to bring us all the different Yeshuas, give us connection to all the emes of Tzaddikim, to bring us shefa and bracha. If anyone wants to do any tzedakah, I'm going to put a link in the description. Can help people in Eretz Yisrael, including supporting soldiers, which is what I'm doing. And I'll give you my link, and I'll help initiate, because tzedakah is a big part of Yesod ShbYesod, of people being mefarnes and helping and being mashpia, giving goodness and kindness to the people of Eretz Yisrael, which is where we are, Baruch Hashem. Shezoch Bez Hashem to be so tovus, to be mashpia, Torah and light, and together to dance to be Mashiach Sekenu, and all of Am Yisrael, together with all the emes Tzaddikim. Amen v'amen.